Hey traders, charting man Dan of TheChartGuys.com here. I want to give a little bit of insight and reflection as to what's going on right now with Wall Street bets and Reddit and these massive short squeezes that are going on, not just in GameStop, but now in a bunch of names out there with triple-digit percentage gains, and what we can expect from the future and how this is going to play out, because changes are definitely going to come from this. As to what they're going to be, we'll have to see, but we can certainly speculate. So I want to touch base first and just go over my background a little bit, because this story really hits home for me, and a lot of my life over the last 10 years is now, it feels like it's reaching a bunch of other people. So back in my early 20s, graduated college, and was just starting to get interested in the stock market world, was in the middle of a road trip with some buddies, going around, camping in national parks. The Occupy Wall Street movement started. It just so happens that I stayed on a little farm with some radical environmentalists. I watched documentaries like Gasland. I learned what happened in 2008 to lead to the financial crisis. And I was a young 20s, slightly radicalized, F this, we need change. This is not a good system. This is not fair to the little guy. This is big money taking advantage of everybody. And so I participated in the Occupy movement going back across the country on the road trip. We went to, I think, 8 different Occupy encampments. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Met some incredible people, learned a ton, and in the end, had my soul absolutely crushed. I was crushed because I watched the media shape the narrative. Here we are, a group of people where we want money out of politics. We want rules to change on Wall Street and with the banks to not allow them to take advantage of average Joe. And the media successfully shifted the narrative to turn mainstream America against us. My tent was egged. People were shouting stuff at us every day. And my soul was crushed at the end of that, saying, well, we can't change anything. If this didn't do it, nothing's going to change. People don't understand what's going on. So I said, all right, I see what you're doing, Wall Street. I can't change it. I'm going to learn your game. I've got this little thing called the internet. I can learn how you do what you do. And over the last 10 years, that is what I have dedicated my life to doing. And it has worked out very well to allow me to be a trader and to allow me to have financial independence and play their game and succeed at it and take my slice of the pie. So we're now seeing that narrative on a massive scale. It's blown up. It was the case 10 years ago when I was starting, but people didn't really realize it, and now they're seeing the power of, wait a second, we can learn this game. And these fat cats in their suits that want you to think you need to go to school for 8 years to learn how to do this, that's not the case. The internet exists, and there's a ton of information out there, and if we have the time and the dedication and the motivation, we can learn this game. So that is what is happening right now, and on Reddit, there is a group of people it started with this group of people, leading to some short squeezes. But you better believe that the $35 billion that we saw on GameStop alone yesterday is not retail traders. Big money is smelling blood in the water, and they're going for the jugular and joining to cause pain to these shorts that are overexposed. So you can look at this a number of ways. You could say a lot of people are going to get hurt when the music stops playing from these runs. That is absolutely the case. There will be bag holders. There will be retail bag holders that lose 50% of their money, and they just hold and hold and hold, and it goes down for a very long time. That will happen, without a doubt. But you can look at this and say, we're not here to protect them. The issue is allowing these firms to go short 100% plus of the float and putting themselves in this extremely high risk position. It's no different. Yes, these retailers are putting themselves in extremely high risk positions by playing these very overinflated names, but how is that different than the hedge fund that overexpose themselves to the tune of billions of dollars that allows themselves to be in this position where they have complete loss of control of this trade, and they're at the mercy of the market and at the mercy of the flashing numbers in cyberspace. I am a technical analysis trader. I care little about fundamentals. It's always been a game of flashing numbers to me, and everybody is now realizing, wait a second, that's the case. And the big suits, the big wigs that have their generational money in this market and have been playing this market for generations, they are now saying, wait a second, retail's waking up. They realize that this isn't as real as we've made it out to be, And in my opinion, we will continue to see the shift that we've been seeing over the last decade, where fundamentals are mattering less and less. The exponential rate of change of technology has people looking 10 to 20 years in the future, like with Tesla. So market cap is out the window to a certain degree, because the market cap is looking a decade down the road, and there are going to be changes, technologically speaking, that we can't even fathom over the next 10 to 20 years. So it is a different game. This is not your grandpappy stock market anymore. And we are going to see, in my opinion, the SEC try to hone in on this a little bit. We already have halts. If things go crazy in one direction or the other, they stop trading on the markets. And in my opinion, we're not going to see, the SEC go after individuals for market manipulation, but we will see rules put into place. I would love to see transparency rules needed. And there was just a great talk on CNBC with Chamath, and I'm going to say his name wrong, but Chamath Palihapitiya. We'll call him Chamath. And he was just driving. You got to watch this CNBC interview, because he was just nailing it point after point after point. He gets it. It's a new generation. It's a new game. It's a new market, and it will forever be changed from this point. However slowly the rules change from here. So I'm very curious to see, does the SEC realize and say, hey, we need more institutional transparency to see if institutions are getting over leveraged? Because if we can see that institutions are getting over leveraged through transparency, then it's going to be a market balance that won't get to this point where essentially you had a soda can that just shook up, and then finally opened it. It'll be a slower release as the market prices things in as it gets this information. The other route that the SEC could go would be trying to prohibit or quell the ability for retailers to play this game. And again, this game has been mastered by big money for generations to secure their financial independence and secure their power in this world. And now retail is getting their piece of that power, and there is a major structure shift going on. And that's why I loved cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency birthed new money, new generational wealth. It wasn't handed down by old white people that have been trading the stock market since 1942. It was created fast and quickly, and it was given to young, technologically savvy entrepreneurs and risk takers. And we're going to continue seeing this shift from here on out, and I can't tell you how excited I am to watch how this all develops from here, because again, massive shifts are coming. It started with the fee-free trades to allow retailers to not have to pay. I used to pay $7 per trade, and back when I had $3,000 of trading capital, that was very significant. Now you have no fees, and again, we're just going to see step by step these rules of this game change as technology and as retail smarts continue to develop. So let's look at some of the charts as to what's going on right now, and let's look at Wall Street Bets and Twitter. So first off, here is Chamath on Twitter, definitely worth a follow. Again, I was not very familiar with him before this, but he instantly has my utmost respect. I just had to listen to him talk for 5 minutes, and I was completely sold that he gets it. So worth a follow on Twitter there. Wall Street Bets on Reddit. This is I guess we'll call it a cesspool of what is going on right now. And it's worth checking out. Again, it's a rabbit hole to see what's going on, but it's just a bunch of retailers, and they use a bunch of foul language, and it's a big joke to them. And again, I love that, because these markets from day one have always been a joke for me, and it's always been just about securing my capital, not trusting the reality around any of this, and just flashing numbers in cyberspace that are a tool to financial independence. So worth checking out both of those sources. To get to the stocks themselves, it started with GME getting the most attention, making millionaires out of these people, a lot of them, and just massive short squeeze. We have hedge funds being exploded. We've already got hedge funds needing $2.75 billion bailouts, and that was before going up 100+% today. Very fascinated to see how this plays out from here. But GME itself, again, I've traded it a couple times. I have to give the disclaimer that there are going to be a lot of people that lose a lot of money on these names. There's making a lot of money, absolutely. I have seen this play out so many times on individual sectors, the Canadian MJ boom, on penny stocks. What is happening right now has been happening for 15 years in penny stocks. It just happens with, 100 people or 200 people in a penny stock versus hundreds of thousands or millions of people on the stage that we have right now. The psychology is the same. The short squeeze is the same. Everything about it is the same. It's just blown up into, instead of looking at it from the perspective of an ant, you've now got an elephant as to what's going on. So I've navigated those chat rooms for years and years, and a lot of people make money on the way up. Those with experience know how to keep their gains, and those that don't end up holding bags, and there will be massive amounts of bag holders on all of these names. There will be people that regret the day they ever bought GME at 200, even though right now they are celebrating. So again, just be aware that that is how markets work, and that is how emotional psychology works. You have the massive swings from euphoria to despair, back to euphoria. We're obviously in euphoria. Despair will hit without a doubt. And you can, I said on Twitter, but you can watch Wall Street Bets. Watch it right now in euphoria mode, and then in a few weeks or however long it takes to hit despair mode, maybe a couple months, go back and read it then. It'll be very different. There'll be heartbreak stories and all that, but the gains are pouring in for now. So I have been trading short term on these names using small position sizes due to the liquidity and the volatility, and just trading how I would any other name. Clearly calculated risk. If I'm looking to make a bullish entry on GME, looking for a break of the high of the day, which the bears were clearly defending, and we bounce here off of 335, maybe I make an entry at 360, and I'm looking for that bull break. If 335 breaks, I'm going to stop out because we reject double top at the high of the day, and then we lose the 5-minute support. So you can still trade these names using technical analysis and using price levels and being extra cautious. And do not play with anything that you can't afford to lose, obviously, that statement. But we're going to see, in my opinion, a lot of correlations between these Reddit stocks, is what we're going to call them. And there's a bunch of them. There's BB, and FUBO was one of them. So, in my opinion, GME is the big daddy Reddit stock. And watch when GME hits its top and finally does pull back. There's no indication of that happening today. Bulls are really doing a good job of holding these gains. And again, with this dollar volume, this is not retail at this point. Big money and hedge funds have jumped onto this as well. But when GME tops out, I believe that all of the Reddit stocks will top out pretty much at that similar point in time. I believe that we will see a correlation among that space, and it will be a party as long as GME is keeping those gains and keeping this steady move up. And then once it's clear that our top has been set, that GME will mark the party being over for all these other names. So there will be a lot of short opportunity. I'm not going to look short on any of these names. It's a short squeeze. I know my odds of timing the top are very low, so I'm not even going to try. I've been playing bullish. NOK was a big win today. Shout out to Mr. F in our chat room, who right here was posting in caps lock, "Don't fall asleep" on NOK, and then next thing you know, it's up 100% in a half hour. And again, then drops massively as well. So we have to be extra cautious right now. Right now, NOK is halted, and it's halted not due to volatility. So again, they're starting to restrict some things, and we need to have retail traders rise up and say, no, you can't do that. You can't restrict us. And maybe the cryptocurrency space with decentralized financial platforms will be the exit game here, where if these institutions and if Fidelity and TD Ameritrade are going to restrict our ability to buy and sell, and they already today all had issues with the market volatility this morning that did not allow people to place trades, which is a very scary thing. But maybe we have some decentralized platforms pop up over the next 5 years that, again, allow for retail to not be controlled by the establishment, essentially is what it boils down to. So I love what is going on. I love the drama around it. I love the narrative. It's just a lot of fun. I have a friend who's entered GME, and he's a big gamer, and he doesn't have much money at all. He put his Christmas money into this, very, very small fish. And I asked him, what's your game plan? Where's your, do you have a target? How are you going to trade this? And he said, honestly, I'm in it for the boomer tiers as much as anything, and I'll probably just wait for a dip to buy more. And that was it. And he's going to give back a ton of money once the top is hit, and that's fine. Fortunately, a lot of these people will have enough profit cushion that it's not like, they're going to destroy their financial lives like a lot of people in crypto. That happened to crypto on the way up, where people were buying up at the top, and then we pulled back 80%, and people put in way more than they could afford to lose. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. Unfortunately, it's going to, but we need to just be cautious. Don't lose your head. And lock in gains as you have them. Scale out positions. Protect positions with stop losses. Don't lose your head in euphoria mode. This is a marathon. This dynamic has been shifting for 10 years since I started, and it will continue to do so. And there will be life-changing opportunities. I love when people say once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in this market, because he said it in 2017 crypto, you said it in Canadian MJ in 2018, you said it in US MJ in 2020, you said it in this short squeeze event right now. I've seen 5 once-in-a-lifetime opportunities in the last 3 years, and that is not going to go anywhere. There will be continued opportunities in markets, and if we continue to preserve our capital, compound gains, not give it back, we can have financial independence. So congrats to everybody that's making big gains here. Again, don't lose your head. Do not FOMO in. Learn the markets. You have the internet. Learn technical analysis. Learn risk and reward protection of your positions. My friend didn't know what a stop loss was, so I explained that to him. I can't wait to see where we go from here. And I'm glad you're all along for the ride. So just an update in the time it took for me to make this video. We've had TD Ameritrade, and it looks like Fidelity, and I'm sure others are going to join. They've halted trading on some of these names. So what that is going to do is be a massive catalyst towards the blockchain cryptocurrency space for decentralized platforms. If the big boys are going to restrict what people can do, then we're going to go elsewhere, and those platforms will be created over time. And we're also seeing the White House just put out a statement. White House says it's monitoring the situation involving GameStop and other companies. So again, big money is shaking in their boots a little bit. This is upsetting the system that they have enjoyed for so long. And stay tuned, because changes are coming, and the reaction to those changes will be fascinating.